Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, according to my YouTube data analytics, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Let's talk about, of course, the elephant in the room. Some of the unfortunate news that Palantir Technologies did not get included into the S&P 500 this quarter. And we're going to be talking about why I think I'm actually seeing a little bit of an overreaction in the market, considering the after hours trading that we've been seeing, and what could possibly be happening on Monday. Supermicro Computer was actually one of the AI stocks that got included in the S&P 500 instead, along with the shoe company, I believe. We'll do a review on that, looking over the article, and get into all the details that you guys need to know. So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, before we talk too much about the price action, quickly, we'll review here though. Price action closed at 24.93 in the after hours after we had the news that the S&P 500, Palantir was not included within that, down about 4%, actually at 23.98, slightly under 24 right now in the after hours. Palantir misses out. Supermicro Computer, the cut. What investors should know about this quarterly rebalance. Now, S&P or SMC and a footwear designer, Deckers Outdoor, will be joining the S&P 500. This will be effective March 18th, as the announcement was on March 1st, the effectiveness being March 18th. And the actual companies, if companies come into the S&P 500, companies have to come out because there can only be 500. Whirlpool Corporation and Zions Band Corporation National Association will be kicked out of there. Now, talking about what will be happening with Palantir, what the disappointment was that it was much against the expectations. And the thing that we had in the previous week was that there was a lot of hype. And we talked about this as a potential in the previous videos if you watched them. There could be a lot of buying the rumor and selling the news. And that's exactly what happened with this case scenario right here. Since Palantir was not added to the broader gauge this time around, they really expressed disappointment and this exclusion on social media. And I think we're just seeing a larger trend. And I want to say focus on this actual disappointment here. And this is why I think we're seeing a little bit of an overreaction, because Palantir nonetheless has not changed as a company. They're still doing very well. We know PLTR, and of course, that's okay if SMC gets included in the S&P 500. Palantir still has many chances throughout the year. And people are going to be looking at, what about the next quarterly review? There's going to be 4 quarters in a year. So there's still many chances. So that's why I think it's not too much to worry. A little bit of an overreaction here. Palantir still doing well in the 20s. However, with that being said, we could see this overreaction turn into more of a pullback or more of a selling cascade, depending on global macroeconomic expectations, depending on AI demand, different changes that will be happening next week. That's what we're seeing with PLTR. If we see a little bit of a pullback, I wouldn't be entirely surprised. Where I'm going to be looking at in terms of price action, considering a PLTR right now is at about 24. It's hanging out right about here in the after hours. Clicking on here, the green line is actually, hit on the green line right here. This is where Palantir is sitting at right now. Where it could be testing is basically at this level of support here in the high 20s or in the mid 23s right there, and also at this 22.47. This was an important reversal that was triggered last time for PLTR. If we see a little bit of a correction here coming down about another few percentage points, we could see PLTR testing this reversal zone right here. However, this is not the strongest reversal point, considering PLTR does not have a ton of recent trading history within the 20s right here. But for people that are taking a long-term bullish call, like I said, in my opinion, this is just a buy the rumor, sell the news scenario. And that could be allowing people to either dollar cost average if they bought in the higher 20s here, like the 25s, or if they're waiting to get in at specific price targets, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for you. Looking and toggling over here to the options, we see PLTR. Call volume is still looking decent for end of the week expirations, which will be March 8th. $25 strike price at actually 23,000 for the call volume, surprising there, and firm volatility. And in terms, we do have some puts on the other side. But however, people are still expecting this to be a bounce back here and Palantir to continue to grow. Or could this have been a lot of options volatility, thinking that PLTR and taking the bet that they were going to be included with the S&P 500, because historically we see about a 4 to 5% on average gain just due to all the index funds that track the S&P 500. One of the biggest questions that I have been seeing is it too late to buy PLTR stock? And if we look here on Motley Fool, let's come out this article right here. A lot of people, biggest criticism for PLTR is its valuation and looking at its price to sales ratio. Now, if you see PLTR right here, benchmarked against some of the other high growth SaaS stocks, software as a service type of stock, you see here PLTR actually kind of competes, even though it's the highest right now, against some of the other big stocks that have been on the trend for the AI boom. Looking at basically MDB, looking at Datadog, ServiceNow, some of these stocks that everybody's been taking a look at are at high valuations. That's just what's happening right now. And as we see with PLTR, they are still continuing to have lots of bullish earnings precisions, earnings per share revisions in the bullish direction. 16 to be exactly in the last 90 days in terms of the next earnings expectations, which is going to be at 8 cents per share, 3 cents for earnings per share gap estimates. Now, earnings is still a while away. That's not until May 8th. But what we're seeing here, and in terms of why valuations are likely staying high for PLTR, is because this is typically a gauge of what investors are predicting the future earnings reports to be. Everybody's predicting Palantir to keep continuing to soar because of its major key catalyst. Motley Fool comes out with this article here. Its major key catalyst that I've agreed with 100% of the time, and that is AIP, Artificial Intelligence Platform, and specifically their boot camp, and even agreeing here with Alex Karp, has been significantly contributing to a new revenue and new customers. We saw large numbers from last quarter reports. Remember, with that 70% increase, that was a big number, a groundbreaking number, an explosive number to be exact for those quarter earnings reports. And as commercial clients are growing and we're seeing commercial revenue that is correlating with those commercial clients, this has climbed more than 100%. And Palantir's latest annual letter to shareholders, he predicted that commercial revenue alone should increase at least 40% this year, more than 640 million. So you see right here, look at the inverse correlation between the increase in actual government and commercial. As we see the actual slope of commercial contracts are growing at a faster rate in terms of revenue compared to the government, is more of a, I want to say, just standard, not as more of a non-linear slope. With that, commercial, I think, is going to be a big catalyst for PLTR going down the line. And specifically, just looking at the summary of Palantir, even though we see a little bit of a sell-off right now, just because of the buy the rumor, sell the news situation, in the last 6 months, PLTR is still up over 64%. And with all of its factors in Seeking Alpha, I am a Seeking Alpha affiliate, so if you want to get all the premium information that you need to know, 20% off, check that link down in the description. But as you see right here, growth, profitability, momentum, revisions, all getting A ratings. Valuation is the only thing, of course, getting a D- right here, currently where it stands. So if you are not a value-oriented investor, PLTR, hey, it may not be the best stock for you. But however, a lot of the EAS stocks that we're seeing right now are getting high valuation. So that's really all that I have for you guys here, just to bring out a quick weekend report. I didn't have time to make a video yesterday. Like I said, I think a little bit of an overreaction here with the S&P 500 not making that. We know that Palantir fits the actual criteria. Now having that fifth quarter of GAAP profitability and all the other different criteria that it needs to meet has all basically fulfilled these conditions. So it's only going to be a matter of time, I think, before it does happen. When it does happen, I think is where we're going to see a lot of buying pressure and momentum coming in here. We'll see what happens Monday. Right now, where I stand, data dispatch, I think we're going to see a little bit of a pullback maybe as this reaction could continue. But hey, we'll see if that $22 level area kind of support, if that previous reversal will be tested, and we'll see what happens around that price target. Catch you later. Peace out. Take care.